Please come forward. Our devotional exercises will be conducted by the Reverend Michael Knowles of St. Dominic Church of Proctor. Welcome, Reverend.
Well, good morning. It is an honor to be here to join with you this morning. I drive past this building so many times to look at it. Haven't been inside for quite some time. As was introduced, I am a permanent deacon in the Diocese of Burlington. I live in Proctor, but I'm assigned to Christ the King in Rutland. And on Sundays, you will often see me in my diaconate duties, standing up front, wearing robes, speaking into a microphone such as this, reading Holy Scripture. And often, people mistake me for a leader in the church. And it's important to know that I am not a leader in the church. The bishop is a leader, the priest is a leader, the deacon is a servant in the church. And reflecting on that, it seems that I have some similarities with what it is you do here. I have a job outside of my diaconate, and I'm a woodworker so that I can attempt to make a living. Like many of you, I am driven by a commitment to the well-being of the people that we face. In our parish, the priest is the leader. I stand next to him, but I am the servant. And when I do that, I serve my bishop, I serve my church, I serve the pastor, I serve those who sit in the church pews in front of me. And today I come here in service to you. Very much like your service to me as a citizen of the state of Vermont. And again, I thank you for that, for the hard work that you do. Given our similarities, I thought I would offer a short prayer that I often use in my day-to-day life. So let us pray. Lord, keep us mindful always of the good of your beloved people. Give us the wisdom, the knowledge, the strength, and the courage to do always what your people need to see and to say always what your people need to hear. Amen. Thank you again for all the hard work that you do, and may the Lord bless you and keep you always.
Please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We received a letter of resignation from the senator from Orleans District, which will appear in the Page Journal. We received a message from the governor, John Morley, as senator from Orleans District. Senator Morley was sworn in on December 16th of 2025. We received a letter of resignation from the senator from Orange District, which will appear in the Page Journal. We received a message from the governor appointing John Benson as senator from Orange District. To swear in the new senator, we will appoint the following senators to escort the senator designee: Senator Ruth, Senator Lyons, and Senator Beck. Will you please assemble and escort the senator designee to the bar of the Senate to be sworn in?
He's not sworn in yet. Oh, there it is. Yes, yes. All right. Should make a movie.
raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, John Benson,
I, John Benson,
Senator from Orange District,
the Senator from Orange District,
in the General Assembly of the State of Vermont,
in the General Assembly of the State of Vermont,
do solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that as a member of this assembly,
as a member of this assembly,
I will not propose
I will not propose
or assent to any bill,
or assent to any bill,
vote, or resolution
vote, or resolution
which shall appear to me injurious to the people,
which will appear to me to be injurious to the people,
nor consent. Sorry, I think that, nor do I consent
nor do I consent
to any act or thing whatsoever
to any act or thing whatsoever
that shall have a tendency
that shall have a tendency
to lessen or abridge
to lessen or abridge
their rights or privileges
their rights or privileges
as declared by the Constitution of the state,
as declared by the Constitution of the state,
but will in all things
but will in all things
conduct myself
conduct myself
as a faithful, honest representative
as a faithful, honest representative
and guardian of the people
and guardian of the people,
according to the best of my judgment and abilities.
according to the best of my judgment and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will be true and faithful
that I will be true and faithful
to the state of Vermont,
to the state of Vermont,
and that I will not directly or indirectly
that I will not directly or indirectly
do any act or thing
do any act or thing,
injurious to the Constitution or government thereof.
do anything injurious to
The
the
Constitution
Constitution
of the government
or
thereof.
government thereof.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I did not, at the time of my appointment
I did not, at the time of my appointment
to this body,
to this body,
and that I do not now
and I do not now
hold any office
hold any office
of profit or trust
or trust
under the authority of Congress.
under the authority of Congress.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the state of Vermont
the Constitution of the state of Vermont
and the Constitution of the United
and the
States.
Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. It's fine with me. Get back to where I'm supposed to be here. Okay, we'll be announcing the committee appointments first. The Committee on Committee has met and makes the following appointments. Government Operations, Senators Collmore, Pahovsky, White, Clarkson, and Morley. Health and Welfare, Senators Lyons, Gulick, Cummings, Morley, Benson. Institutions, Senator Harrison, Plunkett, Ingalls, Major, Benson. Now we go to announcements. Are there any announcements? Senator from Chittenden.
Thank you, Mr. President, and welcome back. Welcome to all of us. I wanted to just offer a couple of relatively quick remarks today, a couple very quickly. We have with us today Elsie and Brogan as two of our new pages. You will notice that they are sitting in chairs. And that is in part due to the good work of David Sheets, our curator, who found these in our collection. And you will notice that the old stools are not thrown away, they are in the corners. When we are not in session, we will swap them out so that people have a view of history. But when we are in session, we will give a little more comfort to our pages. Second thing I wanted to note is when you came in today, you came in through a single point of entry. I am delighted with that change. We mean to go there full-time at some point, but this particular session, you will see that on and off as we get accustomed to it. But you also saw an X-ray machine, and you saw uniformed officers handling that arrangement. I think that is all to the good I made a promise to several of you, Senator Duhovsky being one, that I would work on security in the State House. We have not flagged in that effort, so our Sergeant at Arms and our Capitol Police have been working to beef up security. You will see other indications of it as we go forward. But my thanks to the Chief and to the Sergeant at Arms for those changes. And I want to start with the big topic this year, and that is education. It was the big topic last year. And since I have been here, this is my 16th year, it has been the big topic many of those years. And the reason is that our funding system depends on the property tax, and there is an uncertain relationship between the property tax and people's expectations about what it will be. So I just want to impart for our new members, Senator Morley, Senator Benson, I want to just catch you up briefly on where we've been and where we'll be going this session, just in terms of general direction. So last session, we worked on what's now called Act 73. And the reason for that, the impetus for that, was that we had had a 14% property tax increase in 1 year. In part, that led to a rearrangement of this chamber. It led to voters saying, we want the property tax brought down, among other affordability issues. It was a tough night for the Democratic Party, of which I am a member, but we heard that message. And those of us in the chamber who gathered following that election, we vowed to each other that we wouldn't forget that message. And so what I'm going to be offering this session is in line with that vow that was taken by me personally to bring my neighbors' property taxes into line with their ability to pay, but also to not impoverish the rest of government to get there. And I'll explain what I mean. So the way it works at this point is 119 school districts set budgets. Their voters approve them or don't approve them. But once they're all approved, that is totaled up and we get the bill here in Montpelier. We cannot make that bill smaller except by doing what's called buying down the rate. Buying down the rate means we take money from elsewhere and we put it artificially into the education fund to artificially lower the rate. So people may have voted for 14% spending or 10% or 5%, but generally we buy it down to a lower amount. That's now standard practice. But it is an ungodly expensive standard practice. And just to give you a sense of the scope of that, the scale of that, our doing that for the last couple of years, along with spikes in healthcare costs, driving school budgets, has got us to the point where over the last 5 years, the increases are around 40% total. 40% increase if you are a person on a fixed income is not acceptable. It's not doable, it's not workable. So we tried our level best last year to buy down the rate, yes, but to have a credible explanation for how we were going to make up that revenue. And the credible explanation was what we now call the foundation formula. Montpelier, in 4 years, was going to begin setting a formula that would slowly lower the growth in education costs. And it would depend on how much your district had been spending. It would depend on weighted pupils, other factors. But it was a revelation in that it was the first time Montpelier was going to say, this is a limit on how much your budgets can grow. Now, in order to get to that point, we also included, at the governor's urging, we included mapping of districts that would consolidate from 119 to maybe 15 or, in any event, under 20 districts that would be larger and more uniform in size, so that when you applied the foundation formula to them, you wouldn't get weird effects with small districts. You would get a uniform effect across the state. The bill that finally came out pushed the mapping off somewhat, and then had about a 4-year timeline before the foundation formula would be fully in place. Key to that was we were going to develop maps in the off session, and those maps would be operated on now. The committee that looked at the problem of the maps decided that they would themselves not go in that direction, and they urged the state not to go in that direction. I make no judgment about that approach. I've been on study committees myself before, and I know that what happens is you look at data and you and your committee make your best decision. So that committee will be presenting their findings in the committees of jurisdiction. They will be listening in tandem, the education committees together and the finance committee and the ways and means committee together, looking at what the redistricting committee did and to what extent is it usable. So the only thing that I would note is that regardless of what comes of that report, it's on a different timeline than we had expected. So the timeline now to get to the cost savings of the foundation formula is a longer timeline. And yet, we're still going to be buying the rate down on our way there. A note about the phrase buying the rate down. When we say we're buying the rate down, it has kind of a good sound, right? You buy down debt. But this is the reverse. We are not buying down debt. We are essentially cannibalizing the general fund to pay for the growth in the education fund. And there was a reason why they were separated originally. They were separated so that this exact thing would not happen. We wouldn't wind up spending too much on education at the expense of other things. But we are now spending over $2 billion a year to educate about 79,000 students. And I don't have to tell any of you the rate at which education spending is going, like the rate of other things, unfortunately, has been very brisk. We are headed in an upward direction that is completely unsustainable. So the question that I'm putting for the Senate at the beginning of the session is, how do we continue the long-term transformation that Act 73 started? That process might include mandatory mapping. It might include voluntary mapping. It might include the foundation formula that is reworked so that it might work with 119 districts. It might include different parameters that would allow it to work on fewer districts. The Education Committee will decide primarily and initially what direction we take with Act 73. But I believe in the interim, in order to get to the cost savings in Act 73, we need some kind of temporary containment of the rise in the growth of spending. And so I will be putting in a bill this week. It will go to the Finance Committee, and it will place a 2-year limit, a 2-year curb on the growth in education spending. In advance of that, and again, for the benefit of our 2 new senators, let me just tell you what will happen when I do that. Your inboxes will become very lively places, and you will find out what that means in a whole new way. And I will appear in your inbox in a whole different way than you're looking at me now. So I ask you just to be on the lookout for that. But in advance of it, let me say this. I sent my kids to public schools. I love public schools. I am a teacher, and I have been a teacher my entire adult life for 35 years. I also was on my school board for 4 years. I also chaired the Education Committee for 10 years. Chaired it for 4, was on it for 10. So what I would say is I take a back seat to no one in this chamber when it comes to my love of education, my belief in the extreme need at this moment in our country's history for education of our citizens and how they're going to live and operate in a democracy. I believe that's a sacred thing. At the same time, what I would say is that we cannot any longer allow the growth in education spending to eat its way into the general fund. We are now this year looking at a $200 million bill that ultimately, if we buy that rate down, it will come out of the general fund And that comes out of what we might otherwise spend for mental health, for the homeless, for housing, very, very pressing needs and crises around the state. The last thing I will say is that when this bill goes into the Finance Committee, I want them and you to understand that it is not, in my opinion, the be-all end-all. It is a starter for the conversation. If they have a different direction that will help us in the short term contain spending, I am more than open to it. I would welcome it. If they have ideas about different numbers, different rates, different duration, if 2 years isn't the magic time, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 1. I will defer to the Committee of Jurisdiction on that, and then they will bring their work, if they so choose, to the floor. But I could not, in good conscience, as someone who loves my schools, but who also loves government and what it does elsewhere for people on affordability issues, and in terms of providing, I'm looking at our Chair of Transportation, providing good roads, providing housing, providing medical care, et cetera. So with that said, Mr. President, I will just ask senators to think of this as a 2-track process that we're undergoing. So the Education Committee will be operating on Act 73, deciding is it completely viable as it stands? Does it need to be amended? What is the direction that they prefer this year? And that is not a new thing. When we pass major bills, we usually follow that up with some kind of secondary bill the following year. That's what I expect from education, and the Finance Committee will be studying the question of how we pay those rising education costs. So if you have questions, that's the way to divide them, financing to finance and policy to the education. So thank you. This won't be the first time we talk about this. I hope all of our discussions will be civil and friendly, even as we tackle what is inarguably the hardest issue that I've hit since I entered this building. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
By way, excuse me, by way of announcement, as I've done my constituent work throughout this summer, I have heard far too often from people reaching out to my office that their legislators or the state departments that they contacted did not get back to them. And I raise this as an issue not to scold anyone, but to ask that you make sure you're getting back to your constituents. And my office is always open. If you need our assistance, we're happy to be there. But I believe to rebuild trust in government, we need to be making constituent contact. And when they take the time to email us or call us, I think it's imperative to get back to them. And I spend a huge amount of my time in my office doing exactly that. One of the main reasons I get calls in my office is from people saying they can't afford to live here anymore. I had a retired state employee who's married to a retired federal employee tell me that they can't afford to retire here. Now, we know that those two probably get far better pensions than the average Vermonter, and if they're struggling, what's happening to regular Vermonters? I had a 30-something-year-old employee of a tech company in Chittenden County. I talked to her in person, and she said, I make good money, but there's nothing left at the end of the year. I had a superintendent of a school district tell me his property taxes have doubled since he moved here 8 years ago. And he said he loves his community. He loves his school. His kids love the school. But he said he will likely move out of Vermont when his kids are out of school. We have many pressing issues, and we know that healthcare is a major driver in education cost, and we want our teachers and state employees and all Vermonters to have great healthcare. But currently, too many Vermonters do not have great healthcare. I have some friends that contacted me, married couple in their 30s, paying $38,000 this year for their healthcare coverage, plus the large deductible. How can people afford to take $40,000 or $50,000 out of their income when the average Vermont salary is in that ballpark? As we reshape education, I believe that we need to elevate tech education and support it more than we have in the past. We must build capacity and build networking opportunities with businesses who are willing to have apprenticeship programs. We need to build the next generation of the workforce that Vermont needs to build and maintain the housing and infrastructure that we need to thrive. We need to train for the trades, manufacturing, healthcare, childcare, engineering, and all STEM-related jobs. In my office, we have gotten involved with FIRST Robotics, and I think you've probably all gotten the emails, and you have the opportunity to volunteer. And if you're interested, you can stop by the office and learn more about it. But this is a great program, mostly in Chittenden County and the surrounding counties. It hasn't reached all counties. But one of the impressive things that they told me is when they brought this program into the schools, 7% of the participants were females. Since it's been in the schools, 50% of the participants are now females. This is telling me that there are a whole lot of young women that are interested in STEM careers if they are given the opportunity. My office is also working on an event in October, Bring Back the Trades, that'll be held at the airport. And if anybody wants to get involved in either of these programs, my office is always ready to help. And it's the same when you're doing your constituent work. We're always ready to help, and it is nonpartisan. So don't feel because you have a D beside your name and I have a R beside my name that I won't help you, because when people call my office, I don't ask them who they voted for or what party they're part of. I ask them how I can help. Are there any further announcements? Seeing none. We have governor's appointments now. Yeah. That print is very small. Read the script, okay. All right. We have appointments which we have received from the governor and which are now being referred to the committees having jurisdiction. These appointments will appear in today's journal, which you will receive tomorrow. Oh, good God. We now have SR 18, Senate Resolution relating to concurrently conducting electronic committee meetings. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
Resolved by the Senate, notwithstanding the language in Permanent Senate Rule 32A limiting the applicability of Senate Rule 32A to declarations of emergency, the provisions of Permanent Senate Rule 32A regarding committee meetings shall be in effect through Tuesday, March 10, 2026.
Now you've heard the reading of the resolution. The question is, shall the Senate adopt the resolution? Are you ready for the question? If so, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've adopted the resolution. We now have SR 19, Senate Resolution relating to electronic participation in Senate sessions. Listen to the reading of the resolution.
Resolved by the Senate that temporary Rule 9B, subsection B, be amended as follows. Rule 9B, temporary rule regarding electronic participation in Senate sessions. Subsection B, this temporary rule shall remain in effect through old language, Wednesday, January 7, 2026, new language, Tuesday, March 10, 2026.
Now you've heard the reading of the resolution, and the question is, shall the Senate adopt the resolution? Are you ready for the question? If so, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we have adopted the resolution. We now have JRS 29, Joint Resolution relating to weekend adjournment on January 9th, 2026. Listen to the reading of the resolution.
Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that when the two houses adjourn on Friday, January 9, 2026, it be to meet again no later than Tuesday, January 13, 2026.
Now you've heard the reading of the resolution. The question is, shall the Senate adopt the resolution on its part? Are you ready for the question? If so, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you have adopted the resolution. We now have JRS 30, joint resolution to provide for a joint assembly to receive the State of the State message from the governor. Listen to the reading of the resolution.
Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that the two houses meet in joint assembly on Wednesday, January 7, 2026, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to receive the State of the State message from the governor.
Now you've heard the reading of the resolution, and the question is, shall the Senate adopt the resolution on its part? Are you ready for the question? If so, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we have adopted the resolution. We now have JRS 31, joint resolution relating to town meeting adjournment. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that when the two houses adjourn on Friday, February 27, 2026, or Saturday, February 28, 2026, it be to meet again no later than Tuesday, March 10, 2026.
Now you've heard the reading of the resolution, and the question is, shall the Senate adopt the resolution on its part? Are you ready for the question? If so, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you have adopted the resolution. Following bills having failed to meet crossover and been referred to the Senate Committee on Rules in the 2025 session are referred to their committees of jurisdiction per temporary rule 44A as follows. We need. Right there, starting here. Gotcha. H46, an act relating to the Rare Disease Advisory Council to the Committee on Health and Welfare. H230, an act related to management of fish and wildlife to the Committee on Natural Resources and Energy. H248, an act relating to supplemental child care grants and the Child Care Financial Assistance Program to the Committee on Health and Welfare. H293, an act related to health equity, data reporting, and registry disclosure requirements to the Committee on Health and Welfare. Senator from Chittenden.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I move that the rules be suspended and that all Senate bills be introduced and read for the first time by number only.
The senator from Chittenden has moved that the rules be suspended and that all Senate bills be introduced and read for the first time by number only. Are you ready for the question? If so, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Gotcha.
S-159,
Finance,
S-160,
Judiciary,
S-161,
Education,
S-162,
Health and Welfare,
S-163,
Health and Welfare,
S-164,
Government Operations,
S-165,
Finance,
S-166,
Health and Welfare,
S-167,
Judiciary,
S-168,
Judiciary,
S-169,
Natural Resources and Energy,
S-170,
Natural Resources and Energy,
S-171,
Natural Resources and Energy,
S-172,
Transportation,
S-173,
Economic Development,
S-174,
Natural Resources and Energy,
S-175,
Education,
S-176,
Agriculture,
S-177,
Natural Resources and Energy,
S-178,
Judiciary,
S-179,
Judiciary,
S-180,
Judiciary,
S-181,
Judiciary,
S-182,
Judiciary,
S-183,
Judiciary,
S-184,
Judiciary,
S-185,
Natural Resources and Energy,
S-186,
Judiciary,
S-187,
Judiciary,
S-188,
Health and Welfare,
S-189,
Health and Welfare,
S-190,
Health and Welfare,
S-191,
Natural Resources and Energy,
S-192,
Government Operations,
S-193,
Judiciary,
S-194,
Health and Welfare,
S-195,
Judiciary,
S-196,
Government Operations,
S-197,
Health and Welfare,
S-198,
Economic Development,
S-199,
Health and Welfare,
S-200,
Education,
S-201,
Education,
S-202,
Natural Resources and Energy,
S-203,
Judiciary,
S-204,
Finance,
S-205,
Finance,
S-206,
Health and Welfare,
S-207,
Economic Development,
S-208,
Judiciary,
S-209,
Judiciary. There are no orders of the day. I got him. I see him over there. Senator from Chittenden.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pending announcements, I would move that the Senate stand in adjournment until 1 p.m. Wednesday, January 7, 2026. If I might make an announcement or a series. Rules Committee members, there will be very brief Rules Committee immediately following the floor, so if you could remain with us, literally 5 minutes out of your day, but thank you in advance. Members should know, especially new members, that tomorrow will be our joint assembly at 2 o'clock. When we have a joint assembly, we gather here, and then we get into position, and then we file into the House chamber in order. And your seatmates, and I'm looking here at Senator Morley, your seatmates will help you do the right thing. You have some jokesters next to you. And then the last thing is, a week from today, next Tuesday, we'll have our mandatory discrimination and harassment training in the chamber. You'll get updates on that, but just to give you an advance notice that that will be happening a week from today. Thank you, Mr. President.
And by way of announcement, when we come out of the Senate, let's try to do that in an orderly fashion too. I think a couple times last year, things got a little scattered. The senator from Chittenden has moved that we stand in adjournment until 1 p.m. Wednesday, January 7th. Are there any other announcements? Senator from Chittenden.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Health and Welfare will meet at 11 o'clock for a brief discussion and to meet our new members. So I'll see you then.
Are there any other announcements? Senator from Lamoille.
Transportation will meet at 11 to have a discussion about our priorities for the year.
Senator from Windham.
Thank you. Senate Judiciary will meet 5 minutes after the fall of gavel.
Senator from Essex.
Thank you, Mr. President. Agriculture will meet at 11 o'clock to discuss the priorities for the coming year.
Senator from Washington.
Senate Natural Resources and Energy will meet 5 minutes after the fall of the gavel. Thank you.
Senator from Windsor.
Senate Economic Development, Housing and General Affairs will meet at 11 o'clock.
Are there any? Senator from Windham.
Thank you. Senate Institutions will meet at 1.
Senator from Washington.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Finance will meet at 1. Note the new time for a very abbreviated version of how I spent my summer. And then at 1:15, we will meet in room 11, joint hearing with the Ways and Means Committee on federal changes and impact on some of our tax laws.
Senator from Rutland.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Government Operations will meet at 1.
Senator from Washington.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Appropriations at 1.
Are there any further announcements? Senator from Rutland.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Friends of the State House, I would like to recognize that the President of the Senate is wearing his political pin, which he purchased about 9 months ago. These pins, if you purchase them, are now available at the Friends of the State House gift kiosk up by the cafeteria. Thank you for your patience.
Are there any further announcements? Seeing none, the senator from Chittenden has moved that we stand in adjournment until 1 p.m. Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. Are you ready for the question? If so, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We'll stand in adjournment until 1 p.m. on Wednesday, January 7th, 2026.